Last year, you may recall, if you were here, that we instituted for the first time a student presentation. We believe that that's a good addition to our commemoration service, and we've continued that idea this year. The subject that we gave to the young lady from Aspley State High School to cover this morning was VP VJ Day. Now, I know this subject causes quite a bit of consternation around the ridges because it confuses people. So hopefully, if I could ask Tabitha Franklin to come forward, she may clear some of that up for us. Would you please welcome Tabitha Franklin?
In 2020, we gather to celebrate the 75th anniversary of the end of the Battle for Australia. But in August 1945, the commemoration of the end of 6 years of total warfare would have evoked memories more vivid, more emotional, and more tragic. When the victory in the Pacific, or the victory over Japan, was declared on the 14th of August 1945, it was the first opportunity after a long, bitter struggle for the people of Australia to experience unconditional joy, relief, and gratitude. In cities like Brisbane, the celebrations would run non-stop through the 14th and 15th of August as servicemen, civilians, families, and neighbours became caught up in the incomparable happiness of a gargantuan war ended, a determined foe defeated, and a hard-fought victory won. Since that historic day, the memory and celebration of that life-changing victory remains strong and passionate. But what does VJ Day mean to the young people of today, 75 years later? It means remembering a time when 1 million Australians in uniform and countless others in support stood shoulder to shoulder against a relentless enemy that seemed to never tire, never relent, and might never stop. It means appreciating the incalculable price Australians paid for their victory, from casualties in battle to rationing and deprivation, to the enormous expenditure in resources, effort, and even lives, all of which needed to be committed without hesitation for 6 long years. It means empathizing with the very real fear Australians faced as a war was fought not on some distant shore, but in our own ocean and theatre, with every day a grim reminder of how close the threat had come. It means acknowledging the actions of another young generation who were required by the needs of the time to focus their energies not on their own happiness and interests, but on those of the country, who planned not for their own future, but for the well-being of their people, who were asked for and willingly bestowed the best years of their lives as the price of Australia's safety. And it means honouring those men and women whose commitment to the battle for Australia involved the greatest sacrifice a person might give their nation, their lives. It means taking the time in our own lives to honour those 72,000 who guaranteed us our present by giving up their future. It means keeping in mind that those who gave their lives to make the victory in the Pacific a reality did so, not just for the Australians of their time, but for all the Australians that were to come. For the 75th anniversary of the Battle for Australia and the victory over Japan in the Pacific, we protect the past by ensuring its memory will carry on into the future. The memories of victory, despair, triumph, relief, loss, and reunion, the end of one era and the dawning of another, can be summed up in the words of an Australian poet on the first ever VJ Day. Don't build monuments to the sky in marble, steel, or chrome. Just thank the stars the war is past and be glad at last they're home. Thank you.
Thank you, Tabitha. If I could just add a postscript to Tabitha's presentation. VP Day is usually commemorated in Australia as the 15th of August, the day on which hostilities ceased. Our American allies commemorate VJ Day on the 2nd of September each year, which is the anniversary of the official signing of the surrender in Tokyo Bay. Unfortunately, sometimes media outlets use one to describe the other, and that does cause a lot of confusion. We come now to that part of the commemoration service, the laying of wreaths, and we have a fairly extensive list of wreath layers, and I'll ask His Excellency, though, to lead off and be the first layer of wreath this morning.